So I'd rather have you barely lift your legs and focus on lifting with your abs and not dumping into your low back. So it's exhale, lengthen to lift, whatever feels good for your spine and your core. Then as we lower down, we do that little teeter-totter motion and raise those legs. Hey, I'm Erica Zeal, creator of Core Athletica, my core rehab program, and my instructor training courses. So today I want to break down how to do back extensions with a Swan prep. So I absolutely love Swan preps for myself, with my clients, and it's so incredibly important that when we are working on extensions for ourselves, for those of you that work with clients, making sure that you're moving from your core and not moving from your back. I hear from so many clients over the years that back extensions, they just feel it right into their back, okay? So when we do these, I'm going to break down some different variations for you. So we're going to start on your stomach. I like to start with just the basic prep, and then we can go from there. So palms are underneath you, and what you want to do is have those legs open out a little bit wider. Now, if there tends to be, you tend to get tension at your sacrum, then I would take your legs a little bit wider and focus on keeping your range of motion nice and small to start with. So we want our palms either underneath our shoulders, or we can even bring them forward farther. If you're really tight in your shoulders, I would recommend bringing your palms forward a little bit more. So that way, when we go to lengthen and lift, we're really getting a little bit more connection with our arms to lift up. Okay, so we inhale to lower. We're gonna press our palms and our elbows down into the mat and think about zipping up pelvic floor, lower belly into the front of the ribs. And then inhale, we lower. Exhale, so we wanna initiate with that exhale, zipping up pelvic floor, lower belly, lengthening that spine. So we feel a lot in the abs, a lot into that mid back. Lower back is working, but it's not doing the work, okay? So make sure you don't feel like you're pulling from your lower back. Now, to progress, we can bring those palms down a little bit farther. So your shoulders might start a little forward, but then what I want you to do is don't roll your shoulders up and back. Instead, I want you to think about externally rotating them lightly towards each other. Press your palms down and back as you go to lengthen and lift. Now, you may not lift up very far, and that's fine. What you want to focus on is starting to find more space. So you could almost see, if you look really close, like you could see my lengthening through the top of my head as I press my palms down and pull back. So I'm getting into my abs, I'm getting into my mid back. Okay, really getting those abs to fire. Now, once you can feel that your core is really doing a lot of the work, not just your back, then you can start to progress. We pull, gently draw those shoulder blades towards each other, press those palms down, and you can start to lengthen and lift. But you want to feel like your sternum is going forward. We don't just want to feel like we're going up into our back, because I see this a lot, okay? So that's not what we're doing. It's palms pulling down and lifting. So we're really strong. You're going to feel a lot of mid-back, and then control on the way down. Exhale, gently draw those shoulder blades together, lengthen and lift, and then slow on the way down. Now, we also have the option. We exhale, lengthen and lift, so you've got to push with your arms a little bit, but a lot of core, a lot of mid-back. As we lower down, you can start to lift your legs. When you lift your legs, you are lifting with your abs. Do not just lift with your lower back. I see that mistake a lot. People just lift and you see their pelvis really dump, and you see them dump into their back. So I'd rather have you barely lift your legs and focus on lifting with your abs and not dumping into your low back. So it's exhale, lengthen to lift, whatever feels good for your spine and your core. Then as we lower down, we do that little teeter-totter motion and raise those legs. Exhale, and then inhale on the way down. Good. Now, if we want to progress to the intermediate breath, which I like that better because we're actually going to get more extension and better extension on our inhale. But you and your clients have to be able to make sure that you can open, that you can stabilize with the front of your core deep inside your ribs on an inhale. So it's definitely, you want to make sure you've got the exhale connected well in your ribs, so that way when we start to inhale, it's same thing. Gently draw those shoulder blades together, inhale. As we lengthen and come up, you may even notice I have more extension. My core is on, and then as we lower down, we exhale. So you get a better core activation on your leg lift, but we don't quite have as much support for our spine unless you've really worked on controlling and getting that core activation on your inhale. Good. Now, anytime we do any extension work, I always like to make sure that we aren't just hanging out into our back. I like to do something like an arch and round. So palms can be down, forearms on your mat. And then what I want you to think about is pulling your chest forward. kind of releasing between those hips. You can even wiggle those hips a little bit. And then exhale, little gentle pelvic tilt, pelvic floor, lower belly, rounds that spine. Notice I'm trying to keep my upper torso fairly straight here. And then inhale, I want to feel that spreading of those sits bones. And then exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly. As I round, you can obviously go all the way up, but what I want you to avoid is just rounding like this. We want to really start to find that articulation of our spine, getting into that pelvic floor, rounding. Inhale to lengthen, and then slowly rounding up one vertebrae at a time to then come on up. So that way we're continually working to learn how to move our spine, not just with our back muscles, right? We want to strengthen our back muscles, yes, but we want to make sure we're doing it from deep inside of our body and with our deep core, not just with our back. That's where we tend to see so much back extension causing back pain. So we should always, always, always be using that deep core, those deep abdominals to help support our spine so that we're working to actually elongate our spine and create more strength with space and stability.